knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with? That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead, make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Welcome to the third hour of the show. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. I have with me a very, very mucho interesting lady. Victoria Jackson is with me, former Saturday Night Live star. She is a comedian, actress, singer, and a member of the Tea Party. You are a very interesting lady. I have to tell you, I love your song. There's a communist living in the White House. Let me just play it for the people, and then I want you to tell us why, as though I don't know already, but why did you make this song?
This song called There's a Communist Living in the White House. There's a communist living in the White House. There's a communist. Everybody living in the White House. Everybody, there's a communist living in the White House. Now what are we going to do about it? Why aren't people shocked or something? Why aren't people up in arms? Does anyone read history?
Excellent song. What made you do this?
Well, back in 2009, when the Tea Party started, I was getting frustrated because the mainstream media wasn't telling any of the people the truth about Obama and his past and what he believes in.
Yeah.
And I was learning it so fast because I was watching Glenn Beck and I was listening to talk radio and I was reading articles on the Internet and seeing movies by Citizens United. And so I thought, well, how can I tell people? And I thought, I know, I'll write a song that looks like a comedy song, and then I'll put facts. I'll hide facts in the middle of the song, and then they'll for people who don't read or anything. So, and then in the middle of the song, I put a bunch of facts proving he's a communist, and then now I have a lot more facts because since 2009, the books have been written like Aaron Klein's The Manchurian Candidate and Paul Kengor's The Communist and The Roots of Obama's Rage by D'Souza. And so now there's a lot of facts I could add to it.
What has there been any fallout as a result of this song?
Well, it's funny how people respond. Like I was at the Republican National Convention and I ran into John Fund, F-U-N-D. I never knew him before. He's a big shot, and he's really smart. And he said, Obama's not a communist. He's a collectivist. And I'm like, what's the difference?
I'm telling you.
And then and then you'll run into people who'll say he's an anti-colonialist. And people will say, well, he's a Marxist, of course. Well, Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto. So I like to ask people, do you think he is a communist, and see what they respond. Because what it all comes down to is he believes that the government should control everything.
Yeah.
And that has many names.
That's for sure. You know what's amazing about what's happening now, and I'll get to your book here in a minute, is that Obama is allowed to get away with what he's doing by the media supporting him. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
Yes, I know. Like, how come not one of them will turn on him? It's like some kind of power he has over them. Maybe they don't want to lose their job, but, yeah.
No, it's mind-blowing. You have a brand new book that came out last Friday. It is My Bow Too Big? How I went from Saturday Night Live to the Tea Party. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, I think it comes out today because I don't even have a copy in my hand. But
right.
What happened was I've always wanted to write a book. But when I was in my 20s and I was on Saturday Night Live, I told my boss, Lauren Michaels, I'm writing a book, and he laughed at me, and he goes, "You haven't done anything yet." And I thought, well, I got on SNL. That's a long story.
Yeah.
But ever since I've been off the show, 20 years, everywhere I go, strangers ask me, "How did you get on SNL? What was it like? Why did you leave? And what is it like there?" And I thought, well, I wish I could just say read the book so I don't have to keep repeating the same story. But then along came communist president, and things changed. My whole life changed. I had to start being patriotic and learning about senators and how to talk to congressmen, because I don't want my kids to inherit a country where they'll get persecuted for believing in Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And so all my whole life changed the last 3 years, and I started working for this place in Atlanta called Liberty Alliance, and they gave me my own internet show called the VictoriaJacksonShow.com, where I try to educate people and entertain them at the same time about, what's happening, because the media isn't telling them. Anyway, so my boss goes, "Hey, would you like to publish a book?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have so much to say now, and I would love to tease people in to hear the show business juicy stories, and then when I get them in, hooked, then I tell them 25 facts proving Obama is a communist who is purposefully destroying America and trying to make worldwide socialism and bring America down to a third world country. And I have proof, and I tell them how I got in the Tea Party and why. And then at the end, I put the messianic prophecies that Jesus fulfilled, so that when they finish reading the book, not only did they get the fluffy, gossipy stories, but they also got some meat, and that maybe it could affect the vote in November.
That's right. I don't know if you're aware or not, but you can get the online copy of your book now. I believe that's where Kelly got it from.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they said that the book would be released last Friday, so that's why we had that information. We thought it came out last Friday. But, yeah, it's online now. I read that you believe in God. Have you always been a Christian?
Well, I was raised in a Southern Baptist church in Miami, Florida. And when I was 6, I learned to read, and I think that John 3:16 popped out at me all of a sudden when I was 6, because I could understand it and read it. And I realized that the preacher wasn't just talking to the congregation, that God was talking to me as an individual.
Yeah.
And it was, even though I was a child, I understood it. And the Bible is so amazing because it's simple enough for a child to understand, but it's so complicated that, it's so much rich with theology. Is this a commercial?
Yeah, it is. Hold on for me. Let me take a quick break. 888-775-3773. Victoria Jackson is with me. Back in a moment.
Does anyone read history or see red flags or hear alarms? The streets are filled with deaf and dumb as I squeak like a mouse. There's a communist living in the White House. Only Glenn Beck understands.
Victoria Jackson is with me, folks, and that's her song. There's a communist living in the White House. Also, her brand new book is My Bowl Too Big? How I Went from Saturday Night Live to the Tea Party. Victoria, tell the folks how to get your book, how to get to your website, because I don't want to run out of time here and not give that information out.
Oh, thank you. Well,
you also have a TV show, right? I'm sorry about that. You have a TV show as well. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the show is called VictoriaJacksonShow.com, and you can get the book there, or you can get it at PatriotUpdate.com or Amazon.
Finish your point about your being a Christian and how much that means to you.
Well, I think of course, every worldview is based on, I think, how you view Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like when Jesus said to Peter, "Who do men say that I am, and who do you say that I am?" That's the question, the central question of everything, I think. And when someone says, "Well, men think you're a liar or a lunatic, but I think you're the Lord," that's my worldview. And it's the opposite of Obama and Hillary and Valerie Jarrett and Van Jones. It's the opposite of their worldview.
Yeah.
They believe man is God. I believe Jesus is God.
Whenever I say that, I cannot say for sure that Barack Obama is a Muslim, but I can say for sure that he's not a Christian, because if he was a Christian, his words and action would be different than what they are. And a lot of people tell, well, don't say he's not a Christian. You can't make that decision. I can make that because of the way that he lives and the things that he's doing. What do you say about that?
I agree. I'm so happy to hear someone who agrees with that. I agree. Because it says, by your fruit that you will know them. And it says that there's false prophets. And God, the Bible tells us to be aware and to be, looking for them. And, because we don't want to be led astray. And the Word of God is what we base everything on. And Obama does not live by the Word of God.
That's right. I thought it was interesting how much they revealed themselves at the Democratic National Convention when they removed the word God from the platform and their lack of support for Israel. I thought that spoke volumes itself.
Oh, yes, Jesse. It was the most beautiful visual of what we already sort of knew.
Yeah.
But, man, when they visually said, and they voted on it, they're like, no! And then he's like, okay, that's a yes. That was the best moment.
I know.
Because that's what they're all like. They're like, oh, we love God. Kill babies. We love God. Put gays in the military. We love God. It's like, you're not fooling me.
That's right. I'm starting to become suspicious of the polls. The polls are showing, most of them at least, are showing that Barack Obama is still neck to neck with Romney. And I'm thinking somehow or another there's something wrong with these polls. They're not really telling us the truth. I think they're trying to set us up.
Jesse, you're the first person that I've heard say that, and I totally was thinking the same thing. Every day I keep hearing it's 50-50, it's neck and neck, and I thought, I don't agree, because I don't agree. I get a feeling. I meet people all the time. So you're the first person who said it out loud. I think they're lies. Well, how can we trust anything? The media is all lies anyway.
Yeah, that's right. It's all lies. And I truly believe, Victoria, that come November, Barack Obama and Big Mama Michelle will be thrown out of the White House in a major way. I just can't see the American people falling for this lie again after seeing what this guy has done. And if he's allowed to be reelected, it's over for America. It's just absolutely over. This guy's going to do whatever he wants. He won't care about what we think about it.
Well, I agree. Well, I pray all the time. I really think all the Christians have to be praying, because what worries me is that 50% or 54% of the people are not paying taxes.
Yeah.
And they're living off the government, and I can't see them caring about voting against the person who's giving them free stuff.
Yep. That's what happened to the black community 50 years ago or so, when under Lyndon B. Johnson, he told them that, we're going to take care of you. Racism is holding you back. And the folks fell for it. The man left their home. The government became the daddy of the family. And 50 years later, not all, but majority of black Americans are relying on the government, and the Democratic Party own them, because once you give someone something, it's hard for you to take it back away from them.
You said it so well. You explain that better than anyone else I've heard explain it.
Yeah, you become addicted. I've seen it happen, and it just absolutely blows my mind that in America today, You have 50% of Americans relying on the government in one form or another. This is not the American way. It's just horrible. It's hard for me to believe.
That's what worries me about the election. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, trying to teach them, truths, and when most people only care about a quick fix,
They do. That's right. Victoria, we're running out of time. Once again, tell the folks why they need to get your book and how they can get it.
Well, I think it might be a good book to give a friend who doesn't understand what's happening, like a liberal friend, because the show business stories are very... Well, I think they're interesting. And then I tell why Obama's wrong and evil for our country, but in a nice way. And they can get it at Amazon or at VictoriaJacksonShow.com or at PatriotUpdate.com. And Jesse Lee, thank you for what you're doing. I'm so proud to talk to you, and keep up the good work.
When my producer told me that I was having you on today, a smile came onto my heart, and I was looking forward to talking to you today.
Thank you.
And God bless you, and I hope that we run into each other real soon.
Me too.
Take care now.
God bless you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Victoria Jackson. We're going to take a break, folks, and come back and take some calls at 888-77-53773. The book is called Is My Bow Too Big? How I went from Saturday Night Live to the Tea Party. And speaking of the Tea Party, we're going to get busy. It's time to get busy again, folks. We got to get the word out. We have 50 days, right, Andre? 50 days to get these people out of the White House. And, I mentioned the polls to Victoria. I just think it's a setup. I don't believe that knowing what the people know about the fallen Messiah and now what's happening overseas, that Obama is neck to neck with Romney. I think Romney is beating Obama, and the liberal media and the polls are not telling us the truth. Back in a moment.